Hi there, it's Kevin with RogueDeckBuilder.com here with a bit of a rant video, also a clarification video of what is going on with the War of the Sparks lack of supply. If you have seen some of the other content creators' videos, these War of the Spark booster boxes are approaching crazy levels on eBay or at your local game store, some claiming that they are selling in the high 120s or 130s. And it really is due to lack of supply and a bungled effort by Wizards of the Coast to try to utilize their new method of distributing products to the local game stores. And I'm going to go over why that's the case and why I'm pretty upset with Wizards of the Coast and why you should be too. So Wizards of the Coast ended what was called the Wizards Direct Sales back in August of last year. And Wizards Direct Sales was basically an outlet for local game stores or WPN, Wizards Play Network, members to directly order from Wizards. And why this was a good idea was that Wizards themselves could handle the allotment of products. They could make sure that each local game store got enough product to be distributed to their needs. When they ended the direct sales, it was one of their promises that they were going to keep the allotments, but these allotments would be through your what they called your main distributor. So at that time, you were supposed to sign up with a main distributor. I think there's like 8 to 10 distributors that are authorized Wizards dealers, and their main distributor was supposed to fulfill those allotment numbers. So there were different tiers with Wizards of the Coast. There was the low tier, the medium tier, and the high tier, and I was on the medium tier, and I believe we could get up to 6 cases per week from Wizards of the Coast. So that was kind of the numbers that we can compare with to today for what we call in-stock standard sets. So War of the Spark was released. It had a huge popularity. The boxes just sold off the shelves, and Wizards didn't anticipate that. I don't know why they didn't anticipate this, because they had problems with both Guilds of Ravnica, and they also had problems with Dominaria after the initial release. You'd think it'd be all hammered out by now, and people would have enough product to actually sell it. And right now, it is very, very tough for local game stores to get booster boxes. In fact, from my main distributor, the one that's supposed to allocate product for me, is only offering me to purchase 3 booster boxes this week. 3 boxes, not cases, 3 boxes. Whopping 3 boxes can barely do a draft here at Gondro Games. So anyway, it is puzzling then, if we only get 3, to see the Sports and Mores, to see the eBays, to see the Amazon and the bigger vendors like the Card Kingdoms and the Starcitygames and the Channel Fireballs still be stocked to the brim with War of the Spark, while the rest of us cannot get any. It also has caused a pretty big divide in the store owners page, or the WPN page, on various social media, where we have a bit of these condescending bigger store owners basically making fun of smaller stores that we aren't even able to get booster boxes, and they still can. And so what went wrong here? Why are we having this problem? I'm going to read over what they stated during the ending of the Wizards Direct sales, and how they've fallen flat on their promises to actually distribute their products effectively. So in July of 2006, or July 16, 2018, they stated that on August 31st, they'll be ending the direct sales program, mainly to free up workers. So they wanted to free up their employers, because they felt like the distributors could do a better job at distributing their product than Wizards themselves could be. In my opinion, that was a failure on their end. I think that it can be done profitably. I have no clue why a company as big as Wizards of the Coast doesn't have a method of distribution right with their strategic partners of local game stores. But it just shows you that Wizards of the Coast is absolutely inadequate at everything they do, including even designing new sets, in my opinion. I used to give Wizards of the Coast that kind of concession, that it was still the best game out there, and they just knocked that out of the park set after set. But I've actually been a little bit, more than a little bit. If you've noticed my content, I've been very upset with some of the previous sets, the balances of standard, and just, in my opinion, the poor design or the poor anticipation for what certain cards will do to the meta. So even that now is falling flat. But since I've been playing Magic the Gathering, everything that Wizards of the Coast has been involved in, besides the design of the game, has been dismal. Their customer support, dismal. Do we even have to argue that with the eBay debacle that's going on right now? Their community management, abysmal. Their policies, they're injecting politics into the game. Their inability to utilize things like the player rewards or the DCI ratings or the Planeswalker ratings or tournament organizations running GPs, coverage, you name it. Wiz the Coast has been absolutely just god awful at their job. I think that if you look at their Glassdoor reviews, they even state, a lot of people tell you why. It's because they are a company that is just riddled with nepotism and favoritism. And instead of hiring talent, they're trying to check off diversity points and letting their friends and families get the positions that are undeserving. I'm blocked by a few Wizards of the Coast employees because I've stated this publicly, that I don't know why someone that has over Reddit gets promoted to creative writing when they have nothing to do with creative writing. And then you wonder why the Guilds of Ravnica through War of the Spark story is so terrible. And that is one of the reasons why. So back to the Wizards Direct sales ending. This is the main reason now that we are having such a huge issue with your local game store getting the War of the Spark product they need. So if you're wondering why you can't draft this weekend or why your game store doesn't have any boxes in stock, it is this. It is because Wizards now is incapable of even policing their own program. So they ended it for reasons why, saying that they think distributors are better at distributing the product to the stores. I'll put a link in the description so you can actually read this over. They say how this is going to affect retail support. The sunsetting of direct sales brings some big changes to our support team. We're excited about it. Read about the changes full here. Reps will work with you on a one-on-one. Our support staff consists of 2 teams, support and development. Support troubleshoots while development works with the stores. Okay, we have had maybe 1 email since then. To be fair, I haven't really emailed back or really tried to contact back, but I know people who have, and this rep is a joke. There's very, very little communication, unless you're a massive store, through these supposed reps and your local game store. Troubleshooting help will continue as is, I guess, for like F&M promos and stuff like that, sure. And they have made their office hours let's see. So that, yeah, I think they've actually limited this. I think this was definitely, it used to be open weekends, at least for a little bit, and it's just gonna be weekdays 9 to 5 with an hour-long closing at noon. So basically, their customer support got completely just cut from when they ended the Wizards Direct. So this was basically a cost-saving endeavor rather than trying to make a better line of distribution. So now let me talk about what the distributors are doing. I am pretty sure I know the distributor behind Massdrop. I am pretty sure I know the distributor behind Sports and More. I am pretty sure I know the distributor that's behind the Walnut, California eBay account that sells thousands upon thousands of booster boxes at what would basically be cost for me. So if I were to try to compete with them, I'd actually lose money on it. All of these are currently still stocked with War of the Spark. So what does that show me? It is trying to show me that Wizards of the Coast is not policing distributors from starting fake stores or fronts for them to sell directly to the consumer. Now, in most retail services, there is not this, they strictly prohibit this from happening because they know that distributors can always outcompete the brick and mortars. And I understand we're in a day and age of Amazon, we're in the day and age of eBay, we're in the day and age of Walmart, where maybe that brick and mortars are a dying breed, but a lot of other industries realize the value of brick and mortar, that they can get into those little niches that the big box stores can't. And they can hit a consumer base and cultivate a community that the big box stores can't. In short, what other YouTubers have said, you cannot go play F&M at your local Target or Walmart. You can't go down to the Amazon distribution center in your local area and play F&M. So there is a need for these game stores. And so with Wizards' failure to police their distributors from selling directly to consumer, which is happening, and you can compare zip codes to these sellers that have thousands upon thousands up on eBay and Amazon, and compare zip codes to specific distributors, and it doesn't take a rocket scientist to realize exactly what is happening. The same can be said when Wizards created their Amazon direct sales. So the Wizards will deny and until they completely deny that they have anything involved with Amazon. So here's how the Amazon works. I've talked about this past. So Amazon basically has offered to buy X amount of quantity of products based upon past sales directly from Wizards of the Coast that they can sell on behalf of Wizards. Now, when you do that as a company, when you work with Amazon, you have to go through what's called price surrendering. You surrender the ability to control the price. So if Amazon bought a particular product at X, then they will sell it at Y based upon what they think market demand is. If you actually check Amazon right now, the price of something like Core 2019 is around $86 a booster box. So they've dictated the demand for Core 2019 is so low that they are willing to either take a loss or take near cost of what they paid for Core 2019. And Wizards of the Coast has no power over that right now. So when I say that Wizards is directly selling through Amazon, they kind of are. Amazon is basically being another big box distributor for them. If they decide to sell on Walmart.com, the same thing will happen. That Walmart will be able to dictate the price. They'll have to go through what's called a price surrendering, and then the Wizards of the Coast will no longer be able to control the price. That's also the main reason they got rid of what's called the MSRP, or the manufacturer's suggested retail price, and now we have to kind of do guesswork of what the price is of the wholesale price of when boxes come out. What this has also done is it's given your local game store way less bargaining power with their distributor. Beforehand, distributors had to compete directly with the Wizards direct sales program. So if Wizards of the Coast was selling booster boxes for about $78 a booster box, then your distributor would sometimes have to beat that and sell them for $76 or sell them for $79 with just better customer support, or offer some sort of incentive to go through them, or at least have it, near the $78 so you can tack on some sleeves and board games and make an order worthwhile. This now has caused distributors to jack up the prices of booster box. Your local game store after fees is probably paying about $85 a booster box for standard sets. And if they are a brand new store, they're probably even paying upwards to $88 a booster box for new standard sets. It also happens. This also causes the lack of supply. What's happening with War of the Spark is, instead of the distributors allotting or allocating the amounts they should have been allocating, they are just telling small stores to get bent. They're basically saying, "Okay, we'll sell to the big Star Cities and the Card Kingdoms, or the large, what we call premier stores for Wizards of the Coast, and sell to them and sell them all available." And then if there's any scraps left over, then the small local game stores will get them. A lot of times, too, local game stores are not able to get that at a reasonable price. And it just makes it so they can be outcompeted. There was a post on one of the Facebook groups today of people bragging about how they just locked in for $172 shipped for the Modern Horizons. My cost after fees, on average for Modern Horizons, is going to be $170 a booster box. That means by the time that I ship the thing and pay all the fees associated, like credit card processing fees, I'd be taking probably a $10 loss if I had to compete with that $170 shipped listing. So to me, that makes me think that there is a distributor that is selling directly there as well. I've already told if you contact some of these eBay stores directly, you can actually get better deals than even what they advertise. The Sports and More is notorious for doing that. If you contact Sports and More directly, then you can get an even better deal with them because they'll split the eBay fee with you. So all of this is just absolutely killing your local game store. If it's a small, friendly local game store with not a lot of overhead and capital, this last set has been a huge disappointment for potential profits. This is one of the few sets in a long time that is able to actually make good turnover and good profits for your game store. So again, if you're going to your draft this week and a draft can't fire because there's not any product, this is why. Wizards needs to step in. They were whining the other day about stores selling promos on TCG Player eBay and how they're going to start cracking down on that. Well, they definitely need to start cracking down on their distributors. They definitely need to hold them to their end of the agreement, that they'll start allocating the numbers to their stores. They also probably, I don't want to put it all on the distributors, Wizards of the Coast needs to actually anticipate this nonsense and have enough product available. I don't know what's going on with Wizards of the Coast. Why can't they get anything right? It's like they're still patting themselves on the back because they had a viral trailer. Whoop-de-freaking-do. Yes, their arena is doing good, but can they maintain that? And my opinion is they're not going to be able to do that. They have this knock-out-of-the-park thing called MTG Arena, and they're going to bungle it. They have this really good Twitch views for their what do they call them now? Magic Fests, as well as their mythic championships. The quality of the casting is still pretty terrible. It still is outclassed by many other games that are on the same level as far as participation as them, and it doesn't seem like that they are really learning from their mistakes and actually going forward. This makes me very, very, very terrified of the future that we have with Wizards of the Coast, especially with this lawsuit coming out that is definitely going to hit their bottom line. I doubt we'll see another Mythic edition. I don't know what the foreseeable future will be with future sets going forward. I think everyone's going to eventually have to go on eBay or Amazon, because you're not going to be able to rely on your local game store. So it's going to have this domino effect of each set, like, oh, well, I couldn't get it from my local game store this time. I'm going to have to get it next time I'll just go through Amazon or eBay. This is just abysmal. And maybe this isn't the place for me to rant, but it's my channel. I do what I want. So you have to be my little ears here for it. So this week, I hope that you all can make the effort to go to your local game store and support them in other ways, because this is getting absolutely backbreaking. When we finally get a set that could actually make good profit margins, and we just don't even have the set. So far, I'm really selling a ton of Modern Horizons, and I hope that we have enough Modern Horizons to go down. But I'm worried. I'm worried that Modern Horizons is going to have the exact same issue. I'm sold out right now for Modern Horizons for all of that are allocated up to my pre-release and my release date. And I want to be able to continue to fulfill those numbers. And I'm going to be absolutely pissed if I log on to eBay and see Sports and More selling 4,000 of them when I can't even get 2 copies. Anyway, this has been Kevin with Rogue Deck Builder. Thanks for watching.